How's it going, Poke fans? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, I'm going to show you the deck that I actually use in the Legacy format and the deck that I actually have in my personal deck collection. So this is the Virizion Genesect deck featuring some other tech cards like a Celebi and Shaman. I also decided to tweak this deck a little bit, and I also decided to add one Electrode from the Plasma Freeze, just because I feel this is very cool and very innovating, especially for the Legacy, because that Electrode, it's basically going to be the same as Octillery in the current today standard format, but you can't draw cards until you have 5, you can draw cards until you have 4. It's still a pretty good card, especially against N and to avoid those Ns. So let's take a look further to the deck list. So I'm gonna start first with the line of the Voltorb and a Electrode. So as you can see right here, one copy of each. Magnetic Draw ability, once during your turn, you may drop cards until you have 4 in your hand. One retreat cost of each of these Pokemons. Worst possible scenario, if we start with the Voltorb, you can always retreat him back for the free as long as we have Sky Ivor Bridge in play. So it's not something that is basically dangerous. So moving on to the one copy of Jirachi with the Stellar Radiance. I mean, yeah, this card is from the Plasma Blast, and I mean, the truth is that it is 90 HP Pokemon, but still with the Stellar Radiance, when you play this Pokemon from your hand on your bench, you might just search your deck for a supporter card reveal and put it in your hand, and that's it. I mean, you can search your deck for supporter cards, so I kind of like that. Alright, let's just put him right there. So moving on to the another card in this build. Another card is going to be Deoxys EX with Power Connect, 170 HP. Your Team Plasma Pokemon attacks, including Deoxys, do 10 more damage content to your opponent active Pokemon. The main reason why I'm using this card is to counter those Zekroms or Reshurams with my Genesect, so I can hit them for 110 and spread 20 to the bench, and next turn I can just take the double knockout against 2 Reshurams. This is very powerful, trust me. I actually like that. Moving on with the Pokemons, I'm running one Celebration Wind Shaman. Yeah, this is a very powerful card, and I kind of like it because once during your turn when you play Shaman from your hand on your bench, you might just move as many energy cards attached to your Pokemon as you like to your other Pokemon. What does that mean? Well, that actually means that when you play this Pokemon from your hand down to your bench, let's say you have 1 energy on Virizion, 1 energy on Genesect, you can just move them to your Genesect number 2 and basically you're ready to go, just as a example. Yeah, I'm not sure where even to put him. Alright, moving on to the Executes, of course, 2 copies of Executes with Propagation. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you can just easily put it back into your hand, which means with the Execute, we can easily have that ability, Propagation, from turn to turn for the free searching of Ultra Ball, for the free search of the Junk Arm and stuff like that. Of course, 2 Virizions with Verdant Wind. Each of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached to it cannot be affected by special condition. This is the plus. But Emerald Slash, let's say we start with the Celebi. We have Virizion on the bench. We can attach 1 energy from hand to Virizion, for example, because of the Celebi. We can add 1 more energy from our hand as a manual regular attachment, and then we can just use Emerald Slash for 50 and search our deck for 2 energies, or even better, we can have Genesect with the Plasma Red Signal, for example, with Colorless Machine ready to go turn 1 for like 100. That's just insanely good. But still, Virizion, the main reason for the Virizion here is to power up those Genesects as our main attacker right here. So I'm running 3 Genesects with the Red Signal and Megala Cannon, of course. The good thing about Red Signal is when you attach energy from your hand, which is a plasma energy, you can use it as a catcher, so I kind of like that. And Megala Cannon, of course, can strike for 100, 110, and 20 on the bench, depend if there's going to be Deoxys in play. Alright, and last 3 Pokemons in this deck are gonna be Forest Bred Celebis with the ability which says once during your turn, if Celebi is your active Pokemon, you must search your deck for a grass energy Oh, you might attach, not a search, you might attach one grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemons, and this power cannot be used if Celebi is affected by any special conditions. So, which means if Celebi is affected by asleep, poison, confuse, whatever special condition is, he's not going to be able to use it. So that's the huge disadvantage. But still, I kind of like it. And that's it. That's my Pokemon list, as you can see it right there. Right now, I'm moving on to the item cards. Of course, running one copy of Pokemon Collector, search a deck for up to 3 Pokemon, show them to your opponent, put them into your hand. I mean, Pokemon Collector is a pretty damn ass card. I mean, we can just easily search our deck for Voltorb, for let's say Virizion, Genesect, and we can just easily put them in play. So I kind of like that card. Now, Shadow Triad ×1. Put a Team Plasma card from your discard pile back into your hand. This is mainly as a Pokemon catcher without a flip. So if I have my Plasma Energy in my discard pile, I can easily just use Shadow Triad and just grab that energy and attach it, for example, and I'm ready to go. Then, one Colress. You probably know what Colress can does. It will allow you to shuffle your hand in your deck and then draw cards for each Pokemon on the bench. Moving on to the other supporter cards, I'm running 2 copies of N, of course. I guess I don't need to talk too much about N's. Probably all of you knows what N can do and what N is capable, as well as 3 copies of Professor Oak's new theory. You might not know what this card can does, but it basically allows you to shuffle your hand in your deck and then draw 6 new fresh cards. I mean, there are some other good cards like Smeargle or Cleffa, but I decided not to run any of these just because of the consistency. I really want to have pretty fast start from my turn 1. And then, of course, running 4 copies of Professor Juniper. Discard hand, draw 7 cards. Yeah, I decided to go with 4 Junipers. Who cares? Just because I think it's consistency is very important. Ace-Spec, of course, is a G-booster, so I can strike for like 200 or basically one-hit knockout any of my opponent Pokemons in play as long as I have G-booster attached on my Genesect. In order to do that, I need to discard 2 energies, and it will go through all of the effects of the attack, so which means Suicune with that X or Sigilyph with that ability that prevent EXs from being able to attack them are not going to be effective because G-booster will just go through them. Moving on to some other cards, I'm running 1 copy of Pokemon Catcher, 1 copy of Super Road. I mean, Catcher is rated and basically you need to flip a coin if you want to get your opponent active Pokemon in the your opponent benched Pokemon to the active position, so yeah, it's not good anymore, unfortunately. But still, Escape Rope, for example, can serve us as a catcher without a flip, as well as the Shadow Triad for Plasma Energy and attachment to our Genesect. Also running 1 copy of Random Receiver, just because sometimes I might not be happy with Juniper, or sometimes I might be looking forward for that as N, or Professor Oak's in theory, so that's the reason why why Random Machine is here, but also it can be used easily with something like, let's say, Junk Arm, and basically it can help me a lot. In addition to that, of course, 1 copy of Tool Scrapper, because it's a very good card, as well as 2 copies of Sky Arrow Bridge for the free retreat, as I mentioned it at the beginning of this video. Then I'm running, of course, 4 copies of Ultra Balls. Mainly with those Ultra Balls, I can search my deck for any Pokemon that I like. So let's just put it right there. In addition to that, of course, 4 copies of Junk Arm. One of the best cards, I guess, in the Legacy format, just because you can discard 2 cards from your hand in order to use Junk Arm, and when you do that, you can just grab any item or trainer card from the discard pile and put it into your hand. Unfortunately, you cannot take supporter card, but still you can just search for the trainer cards. Running, of course, 4 copies of Colress Machine. So with those Colress Machines, I can easily power up my Genesect. And the most important thing is that theoretically on turn 1 I can have Genesect ready to go for like Mega Cannon, or maybe even for the G booster. So that's pretty insane. And of course you're wondering how many energies I'm running. So I'm running 8 grass energies. I was also thinking about maybe finding the space for more grass energies. But yeah, I'm running 8. I'm not sure if I even have enough space on my table right now. So yeah, just in case if you're wondering how many energies I'm running 8 grass energies, and I'm running, of course, 4 copies of plasma energy cards, so I can have pretty good consistency with my. All right, let's just put it right there, and I guess I can even put the rest 2 energies, the rest 2 grass energies right here. I'm gonna just move a little bit my phone so you can actually see a full deck list right there. So yeah, that's my deck list, guys, for the legacy format, for that Virizion Genesect deck. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Make sure to hit the likes up, and let me know also what you think about this deck list. Let me know also if you play legacy format, how your deck looks like, because I'm very interested to see it. So once again, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and we'll see you in the next video. So have a nice day and goodbye once again.